Okay, so now we're moving into chapter 10, and we're going to look at macroeconomic relationships. Specifically in this chapter, we're going to concentrate on the relationship between earning, spending, and savings. This is very important to understand an economy and to be able to fine tune it. If we were again generalists living in remote villages, making almost everything for ourselves and bartering with our neighbors, we wouldn't even have any money to save. But we are specialists, which means that we must buy things from others. We get income. With that income, we purchase from others. To the degree to which we make those purchases, it creates jobs for other people. Obviously, if you start getting a dramatic change in how much of the income we get that we actually choose to spend versus save, it says a lot about the incentive for businesses to even hire people to make things. Okay, let's move. Put me out of the way over here, back here. Okay, so basic macroeconomic relationships. We're going to look at in the relationship between our income and our consumption and our income and savings. We're going to look at some of the non-income determinants about how much we choose to consume and save. We're also going to look at the main determinant of business investment, which is how much money how much the money costs, the rate of interest they have to pay, okay? For a business, that's the key to deciding whether to make an investment or not. We will look at shifts in the investment demand curve. And finally, we're going to move into something extremely important, the multiplier effect. So, let's look at consumption and saving. First of all, consumption and savings are primarily determined by our disposable income. Remember back a few slides when we were looking at that huge chart, actually kind of a diagram that showed the gross domestic production moving to national income, from GDP to national income. Then we went to personal income, and once we paid our taxes, we went to disposable income. This is what we're interested in, the money we have that we actually can choose to spend or save. And there is a direct relationship. The more income we have, the more we can save, the more we can spend. We're going to create a consumption schedule of planned household spending. And, of course, also a savings schedule. Now, savings is pretty simple. You take your disposable income, you subtract consumption, how much you spent, and whatever's left is what you saved. Although it is possible also to dissave. In some periods, we may actually spend more income money than we took in the period. Okay, so we had a very interesting occurrence during the pandemic, the beginning, between 2019 and 2020. Consumption fell even though our disposable income went up dramatically. Remember I said there's usually a direct relationship. As your disposable income goes up, you consume more, you also could save more, but especially you can consume more. Between 2019 and 2020, our consumption actually fell because even though the COVID stimulus payments increased disposable income, the government was very generous. People initially saved most of it. Now, part of the reason they saved it is because they were nervous, okay? People get worried, they don't spend as much. Also, they were stuck at home. They weren't used to buying so many things online. They certainly weren't used to ordering a lot of takeout food every night. So our spending habits changed. We weren't going to the theater. We weren't going to plays. We weren't going to concerts. We were basically hunkered down in our houses. And again, as it said, we saved rather than spent. This only lasted about a year. And then when things went back to normal, once we, had to make purchases. We simply changed the way we did it. We've become much more accustomed to ordering things online than we were in the past. So we're going to look at a consumption and disposable income schedule. This is between 2002 and 2012, this graph. So what do we have here? We have on the vertical axis consumption in billions of dollars. This is actual information, by the way, actual data from the US, okay? This is our disposable income in billions of dollars between 2002 and 2021, and this is our consumption spending in billions of dollars. Now, I want you to notice these wavy lines. If you're not familiar, you forgot what they are, all you've got to do is look here. We're going 8 trillion, 10 trillion, 12 trillion. It's going up 2 trillion each time, except here. This is a 8 trillion difference, and the same thing here. 8 trillion difference, and then we go up by 2 trillion. What they're saying is a lot of this early, there wasn't much happening, so we've just cut it out. We've cut the paper down, taken out the uninteresting parts, and we're starting with the interesting parts. The red line is a 45-degree reference line. On it, consumption equals disposable income, meaning we made $8 trillion and we spent all of it, no savings. We made $10 trillion and we spent all of it, no savings. We made $18 trillion and spent all of it, no savings. Obviously, that's not what occurred. The green line is what we actually spent, which means, or at least it's the reference line around which you can see actual spending in the United States during that period. This says it's for 2002 spending, 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You see? And here is the Great Recession. By the way, you'll notice there's quite a drop here too. Excuse me, that's the not the Great Recession. This is the Great Recession. This is the pandemic. We've had two serious hit blows to the economy in just a few years. Don't be surprised. The things both economically and politically are very strange right now. So again, you see a normal thing you'd expect, first of all. As the income of the society goes up, there's a movement further and further away between what you earn and spending it all, more savings. As we become wealthier, we don't need to spend as much. Our basic needs are met, and so we're likely to spend larger and larger portions of our income. You see, now one thing, as we got close to 2008-9, when we had that real drop-off because of the Great Recession, we were overspending. We were getting very close to spending all of it. Then came the Great Recession. We straightened out a bit, changed our spending habits, saved a bit more, picked up a little again, and then you hit the pandemic, and look what happens in 2020. And as you say, by 2021, we haven't caught up with 2019, but we're going in that direction. Okay, now let's stop here. We'll pick up the next slide in the next video.